Hey guys, welcome back again. Here in this part of your JWT, understanding JWT concept, uh, we are trying to understand the first part of the article out of three. Here we have already understood about how JWT is used for authentication. Now we are going to understand why JWT even we want to use and why it is getting used in industry. So it's like, as I have explained here, you can go through in your free time. HTTP protocol is stateless. It means that if let's say new request comes, let me just explain this way here. I have created for you guys like this is a front end and this is multiple backend running to serve the huge number of users in front end. Now this front end request sometimes can go to backend 2 and sometimes can go to backend 1 instance or backend 3 instance. Any instance it can go, right? Now if what earlier used to happen is like we used to maintain session in the backend. What it means, like the server where has this way of remembering the user when the user was logged in and from where and when what's the expiry of that. Everything we're getting stored in the backend side only, so it has to maintain a database for that. Now that is not a good idea, right? Because if you have, let's say, multiple instances like this, let's say you were logged in earlier and you were sending request front end to here. Now what happens is like here you are logged in, but what happens that if this request comes to this backend, here you are not logged in that case you will be asked to have the credential again, right? Instead of JWT taken, whatever it is, other replacement. So you will have to give the credential because session was maintained here and not here, not here. So when you somehow your request is redirected to this backend service or this one, which front users and use don't have any idea about, it will ask for credential for sure if it is not maintained in a very what you can say central database, right? So to avoid this maintaining database and maintaining users, and since it is like dependent on a lot of things, so it's not a stateless. So what people this JWT says is like, hey man, I am a complete information for you. You don't need to maintain anything in the database or any thing to remember related to the authentication part, maintaining that whether user is session logged in or not. I can fulfill all the information for you. You don't just give it everything to me. So it's like it says that you don't need to worry about like the server side session maintaining database and all. So right now JWT says that if it doesn't matter whether it is coming from coming to this one and this one or this one, because this JWT which we are going to send with this request, this has all the information which backend 1 or backend 2 or backend 3 which is having same code running in that instance can utilize this information only to authenticate that. That's it. That's where JWT is cool, right? That's why people started this, because this is stateless. Like it does not depend that whether user is coming is logged in to that instance or this instance, or make sure that it is maintained in the database, like when you were logged in, whether it's expired or a lot of stuff, something like that, right? So as it explains self-content, that means that it is already having everything with it. Now HTTP stateless is already covered here. Just one note here is like it is, I think I have already explained in the first part, is like JWT is encoded, not encrypted. So never ever add any sensitive information to JWT from server side. Okay, because when it creates a JWT from server side, we give some payload so that you front end can utilize that if they want. So please never add any sensitive information to the payload of JWT, because that payload can be decoded as I have shown here using this, right? Because it is base 64 encoded. Now let's try to understand how to secure JWT. So when JWT key gets generated from server, it uses a secret key, which we will understand while understanding the second article, where we are going to understand how node server we can create and utilize to have the facility of JWT. Now this JWT will be used as a will be created by using a secret key. That secret key is very important here. Like if it gets compromised, if it gets stolen somehow, then it's a big threat. Now what happens if this gets stolen? User will be able to generate by themselves the JWT token. That's very bad, because user won't be able to even realize that, even they have not shared their username password, this JWT token is getting utilized by some other third party who does not know the username password, but since they know the secret key, the person is able to use or create the JWT authentication token for accessing it. Of course, there is some other first and payload and multiple things are required, but secret key is there, then that will be able to somehow compromise your system. So be sure that not to compromise that. Now to do that, what we can do is keep changing the secret key, because it is one secret key we are going to use for generating JWT token for all of the users. So it's best to keep it rotating, like secret key keeps changing. Now there is what you can say, you can set key. There is another idea which people can use, is like for every user you create another secret token, and that's how, if one user is getting compromised, another user will not be compromised. But the problem here is, like, you will have to maintain a database, which we are trying to avoid, right, for credentials. It's not recommended in that case. Like, you don't need to maintain a database. So only thing is, like, make secure it, man. That's it. So fine. So it will be different with so let's say you are a user. Whenever you are generating a JWT token, it will be different with the same key every time. That's for sure. Now let me try to understand this, like what if the JWT token is getting expired, sorry, not expired, is, so we understood, like, secret key, we are keeping it secret, nobody is going to steal it. Now if it is secured, then another problem can be there is, like, what if the JWT token is somehow getting stolen? So when I say this, I mean that this JWT token which we are talking about here, what if this gets stolen by some user? This is again a problem, because this works as a replacement of the credential after user is logged in, right? Now, so that to reduce this problem, not remove this problem, what we do is we keep something, we attach it with expire time, right? That this JWT token is going to expire within so and time, let's say 1 hour or 30 minutes. Now, even if this gets stolen by someone else, this will be utilized for some amount of time, let's say for 30 minutes, and after that the third party user who stolen that token won't be able to utilize it. That's a good enhancement, right? We did. But there is what you say, if you keep expiring, let's say in 30 minutes and 1 hour, now user experience may become very bad. Why I'm saying this? Because user will anyhow, whenever click after this, say 30 minutes, user will see this kind of enter username, enter password, credential every time when they are trying to access a secure page or which is not available for public without login. Those pages will keep saying that give me credentials so that I can show you the page. this is very bad experience, right? User don't want to that. In nowadays, if you run this social media app and web application, you don't see, you log in one time and you keep using it. If you see that, so this is because this expiry things is resolved. Expiry thing is there, but it is resolved. It is resolved by one concept called refresh token. And what is that? The refresh token is also a JWT token. It's same as JWT token. The only difference is this refresh token will have a very long expiry time. Let's say, for example, sometimes people what does it 90 days expiry time of JWT token. Now, how this get used, we will understand it. But basically, let's say 24 hours or 1 hour is the expiry date or time of JWT access token. We say there is another concept called JWT refresh token. So one is access token, which we keep using as a credential for user. Another is refresh token, which is getting utilized to handle the expiry of JWT token. Now let's say this gets expired. So right now in my system, if I check in my system, what I said is my access token will expire in 10 minutes. Let's say my access token is going to expire in I can show you guys in, let's say I can set it 1 minute, and my JWT key will expire in, let's say, 2 minutes. I have just set it. Now server has restarted. What I'm trying to show you right now is when I log in and I will get a JWT token, this token will get expired for sure and it will stop working. It will throw error. But I am handling that error in the UI side only by using JWT refresh token. That refresh token is going, when it is going to get called to the server to ask that, hey man, please give me a new access token with the help of this refresh token, authenticate me with the help of this refresh token, and give me a new access token so that I can set it to user, so the user will not have to log in again. So yeah, that's how we keep the JWT token more secure. Okay. Now let's try to understand that how we will implement this concept inside React and Node before jumping to the coding part. This will help us to understand, before start of coding, we should understand that what we are going to code, right? So for that we will understand that how we are going to use front end for JWT and how we are going to implement backend for JWT before starting the coding. Let's understand in the third part of this introduction of JWT video. Alright then, see you.